Star Wars 7 by 7 episode 2384. Big announcement from the gaming side of the house and brand identity related. It's kind of notable also for what it does and doesn't do, and we'll talk about it on today's show. Punch it. Hey Rebel Rouser, I'm Alan Voivod and this is Star Wars 7 by 7, your daily dose of Star Wars joy, and thank you so much for joining me for it. So if you are a fan of Star Wars video games in any fashion, on any platform, you have probably seen loading screens that show a variety of brand identity situations. Like for example, with Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, when it boots up, it shows Disney and Lucasfilm as their logos before it loads into the EA Games and Capital Arts stuff related to Galaxy of Heroes. And there are things like Motive Studios that worked on Star Wars Squadrons and all these other things. And those things still exist and are going to be a part of video games going forward. But now the branding has been changed and it's being organized under one particular umbrella identity, which is Lucasfilm Games. It's something that's actually existed for a while. In fact, there was a job posting, and it's still out there on the Disney Jobs website, that looks for an associate brand manager, I believe is the title, but it's specifically for Lucasfilm Games, and it's back from October of last year. So it's not like Lucasfilm Games hasn't been a thing, it's just been kind of low-key in the whole realm of what you talk about when you talk about Star Wars video games. But now they're bringing it front and center. It's going to be Lucasfilm Games. It's a fun and beautiful logo, and of course very reminiscent of Lucasfilm Limited logo. It's basically you kind of taking that and putting the word games where the limited usually is, if you think about that particular logo. What does it actually mean, though? It's really more of a consolidation of identity more than anything else. And they released a sizzle reel which showed a bunch of little snippets from existing video games that they have worked on, and I guess you would consider The Sims a video game for all intents and purposes, but they showcased the broad range of video game properties that Lucasfilm currently works with right now, including Electronic Arts, of course, widely represented with Battlefront 2 and Squadrons and Jedi Fallen Order, for example. Also, the Lego video games were well represented, and things like Minecraft, the DLC that was Star Wars related, and Fortnite was mentioned, in addition to The Sims, and also, fascinatingly enough, a Star Wars Jedi Academy video game, which came out originally in 2003, but it has remained popular and made it onto Steam in 2009, and recently, I believe it was September of 2019, it was announced that Jedi Academy would be ported over to the Nintendo Switch and to the PlayStation 4. So, I mean, that's, about a year and almost a half ago. So it's still got legs and being brought on to new platforms. Knights of the Old Republic was also flagged, as was Star Wars Pinball. So, a really great range. And the reporting that I saw around this is suggesting that Lucasfilm is sort of reorganizing their brand identity and how they present to the world in anticipation of 2023, which is the year in which, a lot of in whiches, that Electronic Arts license for Star Wars platform games, for console games, is up. Does that mean that Lucasfilm is preparing to extend the license beyond Electronic Arts? Well, who knows? I mean, that's certainly something being worked on behind the scenes, but there is every suggestion by people in the video game industry, people who are watching this more closely and are more in depth in that field. Those voices are suggesting that yes, Lucasfilm is preparing to be able to have games be issued by other developers beyond Electronic Arts, and that this is just one little bit of housekeeping, if you will, to prepare for that eventuality. So it's, big news for Lucasfilm in and of itself, and it's great to reestablish that branding. as far as whether it means anything really in the short term, it doesn't seem like that's the case. And interestingly enough, that job description thing that I mentioned to you earlier from October of 2020 for an associate brand manager for Lucasfilm Games, that talked about virtual reality as part of the job duties, working with releases on AR and VR. But the sizzle reel from Lucasfilm Games, noticeably absent was anything related to virtual reality. Tales from the Galaxy's Edge was not there. Vader Immortal was not there. Things like Trials on Tatooine and Droid Factory, I think, was another one. There have been other virtual reality things, or even like the AR experience for The Mandalorian that's on the Google apps. Like, that stuff was not included in this sizzle reel, and I find that particularly intriguing. It does make you wonder whether virtual reality stuff will end up organized under some other unit, or is it just, kind of an, odd leave out somehow. Hopefully we'll find out more about that in the coming weeks even, because Lucasfilm Games now has their own Twitter account, their own Facebook page. They are committing to delivering more news, more updates, more directly to fans, and yeah, that can only be a good thing, right? So that's what the big deal is with Lucasfilm Games, for now at least, but it does seem like it's really a sign of things to come more than anything else. And that, my friends, is going to do it for today's episode of the show. It just remains for me to say thank you so much for joining me for it, as always. And may the Force be with you, wherever in the world you may be.
Star Wars 7x7 is not endorsed or sponsored yet by Lucasfilm Limited, Disney, or 20th Century Fox, and is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. Star Wars, the Star Wars logo, all names and pictures of Star Wars characters, vehicles, and any other Star Wars-related items are registered trademarks and/or copyrights of Lucasfilm Limited or their respective trademark and copyright holders. May the Force be with them. All original content is copyright 2020 by Star Wars 7x7. We hope you love it.